Vents are something in the backrooms that you never really think about, yet they're inside of many of the different levels that you definitely know exist. Levels 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the list goes on and on. But where do these vents lead? What are they hiding? And just how expansive is the network of vents that surrounds the entire backrooms? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be answering today with level 96, aka the ductwork. This level might hold the secrets to the vents in the backrooms lore, and if that sounds cool to you, stick around for a while I yap for the next 10 minutes about it. And without further talking, let's go ahead and get into the explanation, shall we? Level 96 of the backrooms is the 97th level on the list, and it's a non-Euclidean infinite maze of ventilation ducts and tunnels and vents that lead to various places in the backrooms. Specifically, this level leads to the first 7 levels in a bunch of different areas and ways, but it also leads to other enigmatic places like level Fun and other ones I'll get into. The types and the qualities of the vents in this level will change drastically depending on where you're at in the system. Some of them are old and rusty, some are new and shiny, some of them are so corroded through that you could just fall right down them into the level that you're above. It just depends on where you go. The level has many different layers of vents as well, all of which can go up or down in elevation, they can change directions, they can drop off for hundreds of feet, they can empty out into numerous random levels, they can be small, they can be big. You can kind of see how dangerous this is about to be, especially if you come here with no plan or by accident. If you do that, you're pretty much screwed. The vents possess a number of other hazards as well, like straight drop-offs that just go down 100% straight for hundreds of feet, dead ends, extreme changes in temperature, or the presence of entities. I mean, these are working vents after all, and that means there's air and heat that come through them. And depending on where you're at in the level, they can range in temperature from over 100 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you get caught in a really hot or really cold section, that could be disastrous for you. The vents typically are 3 feet by 3 feet, and they're just big enough for a full-size human to crawl into. And because of this, if you have claustrophobia, you might kind of get overwhelmed here, since they don't get bigger, they only get smaller. They can also shrink down unexpectedly, and they can dead end to where you can't go anymore and you can't crawl anymore. So you better hope that you don't find a dead end, or you might not be able to turn around. The actual location of this level is impossible to say though, because it can surround such a huge span of the backrooms. I mean, it's listed at level 96, but it connects directly to level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't know, it's kind of strange. Maybe it means that this is what surrounds the entire backrooms, or maybe it's somehow underneath it or above it, I don't know. Condensation is another little issue that you might run into while on this level, because the air vents here might be cold enough to create water droplets on their inside. This water is not safe to consume, and do not let it touch you because it's very corrosive, similar to the carpet water of level 0. If you do want to take this water and to kind of store it up because you've been here for a long time, you're gonna have to boil it to drink it just to be safe. Water also causes rust to form, and rust of course is dangerous for many reasons, especially if you scrape your arms or your knees on top of it, but again, I'll get into that later. The only way you can sort of tell where you're at while you're crawling through this infinite maze of vents is by very closely listening and absorbing your surroundings. There's a small list on this level page of how the vents can change based on where you're at, and I'm going to read those right now. If you're in the vents and you hear an echoing buzzing sound, and the vent that you're in is rectangular, then you're going to be near level 0. The buzzing noise should give it away. If the vent you're in is larger and it's more circular shaped and there's cool air running through it, then you're probably going to be near level 1. A smaller circle shaped and a warmer temperature running through it could mean that you're near level 2. Vents with small pipes on the side of their walls could mean you're near level 3, and so on and so forth. Level 4 cannot be accessed right now because the vents are too small for people to fit through, they're just too claustrophobic, and level 5 has no entrance to it as well. Level 7 has vents, but they're all flooded with freezing cold water. And level 8 is a cave, and caves don't have vents inside of them, if you didn't know that. Now those are just some of the entrances that have been found and documented. Like I said, there's also tons more. This entire level is a messy maze that can go out in infinite directions forever and can drop you off pretty much wherever. The only way you can really see is by doing what I just said, absorbing your surroundings and listening, or you can find a rare vent grate that looks out to the level, and if you see one that you like, you can kick out the grate and you can jump through it. Although some some of these vents and grates are entrances to deadly places, like level fun and level run and things of that nature. So just make sure you know where you're at before kicking out a grate and jumping down. If you have claustrophobia, or if you have a bad back or something, or if you're tall, this level and its expansive tunnels would probably be one of the worst things that you could explore. You're essentially forced to crawl around at this very tight, cramped place for days at a time, using the only light that you have in these dark, damp metal tunnels with no light. And that's not even considering the parts that are eroded or falling apart, or there's the random fall-offs or steep drops. There's just so many dangers here that it's really hard to avoid them. There's also no way that you can no-clip through the actual vents themselves to get to other levels. Everything here is physical. You have to crawl directly through the vent openings and jump down into whatever levels you can see. Entities are also another aspect of the level that are going to make it more dangerous. They're more heavily concentrated in the areas that are eroded or that are older, but the main entity isn't really an entity per se, it's rust. Rust is highly concentrated in the sections of the tunnels where there's dew and moisture and condensation, and if you cut yourself on your knees or on your hands while crawling around here, you're gonna be in trouble. Now, other entities like clumps and smilers have been seen in these tunnels as well, and they are known to be very interesting, and they feast on the wanderers that get lost here and stuck here. Just whatever you do, you better hope and pray that you don't crawl through a tunnel where you can't turn around, because then you'll be just stuck facing one direction, and you could be hanging upside down, or you could be falling upside down or something. It's just a very claustrophobic, terrible place to be. To enter the vents of level 96, you can open up a vent grate from any level that has one, and you can climb up inside of it and you'll be here. To exit, you gotta do what I said earlier. You gotta wander around and crawl around until you find a level through the gap, kick open the grates, and you just jump out. But I find it very interesting that you can be here on level 96, crawl for a certain amount of time, and then you can see level 0 through the vents, kick it out, and you'll be back at level 0. It's a very interesting thing, and it kind of just shows how all of these levels are connected in more ways than we thought. But I think you know by now, after hearing the explanation, why it would be a terrible decision to go into vents inside the backrooms. You're risking getting stuck, you're risking getting lodged in something that you can't get out of. Plus there's entities, plus there's hot and cold air. It's a very scary place. Alright, that was it for level 96. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love this level. I think it's so interesting and cool that all these places are connected physically. Not by no clipping, but physically. Such a cool thing to me, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Leave a like if you did. Thank y'all for watching. Hopefully you are enjoying Backrooms. I'm having a blast making these videos, these levels, and I really hope you enjoy watching them as well. Make sure you comment below telling me what other things I should go over in the new year. I'm going to be expanding more and more into more internet horror stuff like I have been. More SCPs, more Trevor Henderson creatures, more analog horror, all that sort of stuff. Please stick around for that if you're ready. Thank you for everything that you do for me. Make sure you tell somebody you love them because life is too short not to. With all that said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.